Oh, big run. Oh, he fumbled. He fumbled. Shit.
He's still
Slay. Now he's about to lose his mind.
He hasn't seen the play yet.
Please tell me you're like that. Wait a minute.
Good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as the freak, Bucky Beaver, and the funky chicken. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Forgive me, because I was savoring the moment a little bit this morning. You've got to savor every moment that you have. Life is short and life goes by so fast. And you want to make sure you get the most out of your life. We have tomorrow, 4:25, Cowboys versus Eagles. This is the opportunity for the Dallas Cowboys to save a season. Some people say, you got no chance. You're looking at the Eagles, 8-2, leading the division. But, let's be real, they're going to probably win the division. If they win the next two games, they've won the division. It'd be mathematically impossible for anybody else in the NFC East. We are the road bump, the speed bump, in the way of them. The Eagles, they're in the way of us continuing to keep hope. You win the game, your odds go up. And this is a weekend where there's some games that are critical that some people are going to start coming back closer to you, down to earth. Last week was one of those weeks. Unfortunately, everybody that we needed to lose didn't get any help. But this week, we have a chance because we've got Pittsburgh playing the Bears. Aaron Rodgers is injured, but looking like he's going to play. They need this win to keep pace with the Baltimore Ravens who are playing the Jets. So the Ravens will probably end up taking care of business against the Jets, and then they're tied with Pittsburgh for the lead in that division. So that's a huge game. You could see the Bears going down on that one. We've got the Giants going against the Lions. The Lions, well, I figured the Lions are going to probably win that one. A key game that really helps us either way it goes, it helps. But the way you really want it to be is you want Minnesota to beat Green Bay. That ends up bringing Green Bay a step closer to you. You play Minnesota so you can knock them out yourself. We've got, what's the other one? Let's see. Of course, ourselves. Atlanta, New Orleans, doesn't matter. Tampa Bay and the Rams. You could hope that the Rams end up beating Tampa Bay, get them to 6-5. If Carolina ends up winning the division, actually, the tiebreakers don't matter because we have a half game. I forgot. Tiebreakers don't matter because unless they are Green Bay, it doesn't go to the second level. And you have San Francisco going against Carolina. And that's one of those games that Carolina losing helps us. Also, San Francisco losing helps us in a way if they go and tank. Because then you only want, here's what you want is you want one wild card coming out of the NFC West, one wild card coming out of the NFC North, and one coming out of the NFC East. And for those out there that say it can't happen, the Dallas Cowboys were 3-5. And they went on a run and won the division, and I believe beat the Seattle Seahawks in the first round of the playoffs. And that year, coincidentally, was a year that they ended up making a big trade and bringing in Amari Cooper. And that turned that season around. Could we have lightning strike twice? I don't know. It's nice to hope and dream. It's nice to look forward to. It's good that, unlike last year when things went south, that the Cowboys were just unwatchable. Everybody loves a redemption story. And tomorrow is a chance for the Cowboys to redeem themselves. I was there last year at AT&T when the Eagles came in and they literally beat Cooper Rush and guys like a redheaded stepchild. It was ugly. It was literally rock bottom for me being a Dallas Cowboy fan. I'm not going to lie. It sucked. You got Dak Prescott, who, if he gets 160 yards passing, will be the Dallas Cowboys' all-time yardage leader in passing. I believe he's 14 TD passes away from getting the touchdown record as well, and hopefully he gets that this season too. The Cowboys need this win. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The Eagles, if they lose it, it's not going to really hurt them as far as playoffs. They're going to be a playoff team. We can pretty much guarantee that. It'll be more damaging in the media and may take some of those cracks and make them bigger fissures. That's the worry for the Eagles. And then there, of course, is Jalen Carter, who got kicked out last week from spitting on Dak Prescott. First game. So there's a lot of storylines here, including George Pickens. And last night, I'm not a great reader, reading out loud. But there was a piece in Players Tribune of George Pickens. It was written by George Pickens and his mother. And basically putting out there his upbringing and his mentality from being a little kid with his brother, who was 7 years older, a great football player, college football bound and everything else, and how George really wasn't into being out there and playing football, but his brother forced him out there to be there to help work on his craft. So he was going against his 7-year-older brother. And in this thing, you started to get to understand a lot more about George Pickens. George Pickens is literally a prankster. Always has been. He likes to have fun. And when you read this thing, and I did it last night. If you don't want to read it yourself, if you want to suffer in with me reading it to you out loud, I did the video last night, and thank you everybody who's already watched it and commented on it. It's a great story. It took me about 20 minutes to read it. You can read it on Players Tribune. I highly recommend that you do, because you'll understand him. For him, getting those deep passes and doing the things that he was doing in the field last week are what drive him and his excitement. And you look at that and you compare that to where the Steelers' offense was. The frustration boiled up inside because he needs that fix of being able to do those incredible things. He calls himself, I'm just a chill guy until I get out on the field, I become a monster. It is incredible. So definitely check it out. But I got to ask, what the hell's going on in Philadelphia? Seriously. In school? We always wonder, why can't Johnny read? Look at this. I'm just like, are you kidding me?
Oh, they're being cute about it. Oh, there we go. Oh, gosh. Oh, that guy's going after Dak. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my, they ripped off the paper. Oh, my gosh.
This is insane.
Oh. Wait, show the back. Wow, they're.
God.
Seriously?
Only in Philly.
Only in Philly.
Oh my goodness! Oh wow! Oh my God! Oh wow!
Are you serious? Are you serious? Only in Philly is right. Only in Philly is 100% right. This is, make no mistake about it, this is the Cowboys' biggest game of the season. Because if the Cowboys find a way to win, all of a sudden people say, uh-oh. That would get the Cowboys some momentum going and get them all of a sudden feeling a lot better about themselves. This is going to be an emotional week. This game, Marshawn Nealon, as they sit there in AT&T Stadium, sitting there at the lockers, Marshawn Nealon's jersey hanging there, he's not there. It's going to be a motivational uplift. But it's also football. And nobody knows what we don't know. Here, I want to talk. Listen, I love Rich Eisen. Rich Eisen is one of the realest people. He is the OG of NFL Network and things because he has been around forever. And unlike what Stephen A. Smith became, he's still grounded in actually being a great host.
I just want to say this, and this is no offense to you because we've had your laugh at your expense, TJ, being there from the center of the state in Altoona, Pennsylvania, right? Pretty much?
East Coast.
East Coast. You call it East Coast. Pittsburgh's not the East Coast. It is not. It is the western part of an eastern state. Philadelphia is the East Coast. Okay? And in that respect, I'm seeing a nodding of the head from somebody from New Jersey and Mike Del Tufo.
Yes.
And somebody from all around the map, but hails mostly from New England and Chris Brockman. You're both nodding your head in agreement. Okay.
Yes.
And you both know, as I do, born in Brooklyn, raised in Staten Island, that East Coast sports fans in many ways are just not happy unless they're unhappy.
Yep.
You're not
You're right about
at your
that.
happiest until you're at your most unhappy.
Fact.
And we talk in a certain way. We're out here in California. People will sometimes look at me and say, "You're angry," and I'm like, "No, this is just the way I'm emoting. I'm fine. I'm okay."
Because you leave me alone.
This is the way we talk. Yeah. So when you've got a defending champion Philadelphia Eagles team entering this week at 8-2, 100% in line to be the first repeat champion of the NFC East since the Eagles did it from 01 to 04. Did you know that? It's been different winners of this division over and over and over again, up until even in the Eagles Super Bowl window that we've seen over the last few years. Mm-hmm. The Eagles, unless they completely fall apart starting this weekend in Dallas, they're not losing this division. They're going to repeat as champs, and they have a great shot because they've beaten the Rams, the team that I think is the best in the NFC right now entering Week 12. They have a great shot at being the 1 seed. They have a great shot at sitting at home and only 2 home wins to get back to the Super Bowl as it currently stands. And it's a full-on grease fire media-wise right now in that town, the latest being a report, I guess one would say, for a reporter from The Athletic. His name is Derek Gunn. He's a reporter. I believe he said this on the podcast of my old NFL Network first show, speaking of first shows, on NFL Total Access, Seth Joyner's podcast. Ooh. And Seth, I heard you're upset with me on my take of like I'm done with the tush push. I heard Seth. And the one person I never want angry at me is Seth Joyner, who I could never tell if he liked me or not. Even when he was smiling and laughing with me. What's up, Seth? But Derek says that there are people within the organization and offensive rooms that are upset with Jalen Hurts because of his hesitancy to occasionally throw the ball into tight windows against zone coverage or generally playing his game whenever he wants, despite his game not being part of the game plan that's been practiced by everyone else leading up to the game. Sort of saying, if I can read between the lines, the quarterback, the Super Bowl MVP quarterback of the Eagles is going rogue. So it's his time in the barrel now. It's been A.J. Brown's time in the barrel thanks to tweets and posts and janky Rondo Twitch feeds and all of that stuff. And Jalen Hurts has got to be like, okay, I guess it's my time in the barrel, even though we just beat the Lions. But it is because the defense has been balling out. The offensive numbers are what they are, and they aren't like last year. 25th in total yards, just a hair over 300 yards per game. 28th in passing, 29th in third down conversion. They're averaging $115 rushing yards per game. Nothing like last year. That's middle of the pack. As we all know, last year they pretty much damn led it. They were second overall in that department last year. They are 75% in red zone conversion rates. That's good. So is just a season low 4 giveaways. That's good. With a defense, that's how you're better than good at 8-2. All right, Jalen Hurts, answer the questions, sir.
I guess I get a lot of attention when things are going well and when things are not going so well. And so I never run away from holding myself accountable. And I think, I think that's exactly what I've taken the approach of doing. When I look at this last game, I take great pride in what we do on offense. I take great pride in how we go out there and play as a team and what our flow is.
How surprising is it that there are these reported frustrations?
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by anything. I mean, this is kind of the nature of the position, like I said, but, I put my energy and I put my focus on trying to go out there and do my best and trying to learn, trying to build, trying to take in the things that I can to improve.
Go ahead, Mike.
Hard to believe that they're an 8-2 team.
What were they really thinking?
I don't dare to dive into Jalen Hurts' head because he never lets you know what's in there, right? I mean, that's why I said his superpower being a Philadelphia quarterback is he never adds any grease to the fire of any media fire that's there. And there's one that's burning right now despite the team being 8-2. So excuse me if I'm thinking he's got to be thinking, are you all kidding me, please? I know you saw A.J. Brown, apparently not being part of the huddle while I'm trying to rally the troops in a pregame rah-rah speech, and he's on the periphery laughing and not paying attention, and you ascribe that along with Brandon Graham's comments that need to be put back in the bottle that there's something personal brewing between me and A.J. Brown. And sure, you want me to admit it? What am I going to do here? Just give more fuel to this fire? When I am a Super Bowl MVP, do I need to remind you of the last 2 times we've made it to the Super Bowl? Oh, by the way, in the last 3 seasons. Do I need to remind you who's had some of the best games in the history of this sport in the sport's biggest game? Are we not 8-2? Are we not going to be repeat champions in this division? Are we not in the middle of the season? Have you not seen this movie play out before? He won't say that. And again, I don't know if he's feeling it. Did you not see me target A.J. Brown 11 times? What do you want from me? Did you not see the football needing to be held on kickoffs? Did you see all that stuff? Because I saw Jared Goff struggle worse than I did. And I know that's our defense because I love those guys. Come on now. Everybody, chill out. And I will say this. Say what you will about Nick Sirianni. We always say here that there's an iceberg. We only see the tip. That's one hell of an iceberg. He's got 56 career wins in his first less than 5 seasons being the head coach there.
Yeah, he's on a Hall of Fame path.
It's unbelievable. He said, I don't believe everything that you read. Again, this wasn't written. This was said on a pod going into Dallas. You're not sitting there feeling confident because if there's an argument and there's conversation that's led up after, by the way, consecutive wins against the two teams atop the division that we all thought was one of the toughest in the league coming in. And by the way, the Bears should send a nice, maybe they should bring it into Thanksgiving, a nice gift basket, because Philadelphia has helped them with their wins get into first place over the last 2 weeks. You're not sitting there overconfident, right? Because of the...
Okay, not sitting there overconfident. No, I'm not overconfident. I just say the Cowboys have a chance. Now, here's where the laundry hat. 3 clear-cut reasons why the Cowboys are going to shock the NFL world and make the playoffs in 25.
Oh, shit! Oh, shit!
Dak Prescott. Let's not overthink this. Dak Prescott is an excellent quarterback and has been a top 5 passer across the NFL this year. When teams get this late into the season, games are increasingly decided by which team has the better quarterback. And fortunately for the Cowboys, Dak Prescott is better than most. He's now thrown 21 touchdown passes this season and has 130 first downs throwing the ball, which ranks first in the league. Prescott has a funny trend where he tends to play extremely well coming off major injury or a down year in play the season prior. Prescott's excellence can help the Dallas Cowboys make the postseason. The run game is still strong. Reason number 2. The Dallas Cowboys have outgained their opponents on the ground in 6 games this year. They've rushed for at least 108 yards in every game but one. This year, they have one of the league's most efficient running backs in Javonte Williams, who is now averaging nearly 81 yards per game. Establishing the run has been one of the foundational parts of winning the NFL. And now that we're in the colder months, the running game becomes that much more important. Javonte Williams already has 8 touchdowns on the ground and is now averaging a healthy 5 yards a carry. This efficient running game can give the Cowboys a boost down the stretch. And will help them win time of possession, which also goes a long way to winning. Healthier and much improved defense. Number 3, the Dallas Cowboys swung 2 major defensive trades at the deadline and also saw some key players return to the lineup. Just about half of the defense has changed over the break. And early returns were awesome against the Raiders. Now, keep in mind, it was just the Raiders. They held the Raiders to 236 yards and just 27 yards on the ground. Mind you, I will say that they ended up keeping Ashton Genty to 6 yards, his lowest of the season. And mind you, I know it's just the Raiders, but you look at what Russell Wilson and the Giants did. They scored 37. Jordan Love and those guys, they scored 40 points against them. The Cardinals, they mollywopped them. So to say that they held them to 16 points, is nothing short of a miracle. You also think guys like Quentin Williams and Logan Wilson, along with other key players on defense, will get more comfortable with the entire unit as the season goes on. Dallas still has 7 games left, so there is plenty of runway for this unit to get to an average spot, which is really all they need to give on how good the offense is. So there's your hope. There's your hope. And I pointed out, I've gone through the scenarios so many times because, teams that you're behind, like the Bears play the Eagles, on next Friday. You've got the circular firing squad, which is the NFC North, where everybody's playing everybody. There are so many division games that are going in there. They cannot all end up having, 10-win seasons. Somebody's got to fall because somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose or tie. So as we get ready to get out of here, and you know how we roll, I got one final piece here with George Pickens.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
Okay. George Pickens, I think it's safe to say that George Pickens, the Cowboys, are not going to let him go anywhere. I want you to understand something here. If you were to say, you know what, the Cowboys don't want to pay George Pickens, they can let him go. And the best you hope for if you let him go is getting a third-round comp pick. Oh, that sounds pretty good. Well, at least we got out of him what we wanted. But I want you to think about this for a second. Think about this. The Eagles gave up a first-round draft pick to get A.J. Brown. And A.J. Brown, coming off of his season with the Titans, had 63 catches for 869 yards and 5 TDs, 13.8 yard average. They gave up a number one for him. DK Metcalf, now mind you, he's had 3 seasons in his career that he's been over 1,000 yards, the most being in 2020, where he was 1,300 yards. DK Metcalf, much respected wide receiver. But his last year with the Seahawks, 66 catches, 992 yards, 15-yard average, and 5 TDs. And the Steelers gave up a second and a fifth to get him. If you had George Pickens, who right now is averaging, 90 yards a game, who's on pace for about 1,400 yards and 12 TDs, if you were to just let him walk after giving up a third-round pick for him, that would be the dumbest thing that you could absolutely positively do. So I think it's a safe bet. Everybody, and I mean everybody, is pointing in the direction of we're going to get a deal done. Dak is gone, is pounding the table. I need that guy. You got, of course, George Pickens saying how much he feels like he's at home and this is a place he wants to be. And now it's a matter of Jerry and Steven, don't do nothing stupid. Shout out to Thomas Garrett. Get this thing done. If you're Pittsburgh, you're saying don't, because you got DK Metcalf. You paid him $150 million. You gave up all the draft capital, and you're looking at him almost 400 yards behind George Pickens. Yeah.
Enough. Right. I should have worn his jersey yesterday.
You should have.
So they had one guy that they never got the ball to enough, and they decided they had enough of him. So they give a crap load of money, still trying to comply, to DK Metcalf, and they create this expectation that they're going to use him. Hell, they don't use him any more than Seattle did. That was our big gripe about the Seahawks. You have this remarkable talent, and you don't engineer the ball into his hands. And it's becoming almost glaring. And now that Pickens is playing so well, it really is kind of like you gave all that money to DK Metcalf, and you had a guy that can do all the stuff DK Metcalf does. So it wasn't about George Pickens. It's about you. It's not about DK Metcalf. It's about you. And it really makes it more amazing they gave him that kind of money.
It does. You're right. I mean, you said it right. It's crazy. The only thing I'll say is, the George Pickens, the human relationship had been ruined there. There was something there that was just not registering between him and the team, and his frustrations about, I think, probably everything you're talking about. Going, what do you mean? I'm the best player on the offense. We can't give me the ball ever. And to your point, Mike, here, let's just be clear. Let's be clear. DK Metcalf is not George Pickens. DK Metcalf is really good. He is not George Pickens. George Pickens is special, and he's showing that on a weekly basis right now, where it's like, whoa, holy crap, is he good? Holy crap, maybe he is one of the 3 or 4 best receivers in football. Holy crap, what's Dallas going to do? They're going to franchise tag him at $28 million? Well, I can tell you're going to have Micah Parsons, George Pickens Part 2 if you do that. I mean, that's what's going to happen there, because he's going to go $28 million. Huh? What, are you kidding me? He's going to go, I'm better. You saw me all year. I'm better than CeeDee Lamb. I want 40. And that's where it's going to get interesting in Dallas right now, because that's the kind of player he's worthy of that kind of price tag. He really is.
Wow. See, I've been on the George Pickens train from day one, even through the moments where people were like, nah, maybe he's not that good. No, if you don't throw the guy the ball, he doesn't get a chance to show how good he is.
No.
They really mishandled George Pickens, and that's a bad look for Pittsburgh now by comparison, because the guy they paid the money to isn't as good as the guy they traded away to the Cowboys. And you're right. And Chris, I said yesterday they may have to choose between Pickens and Lamb, and it may be that Pickens is the one they keep. I don't think that happens after this season. I looked at CeeDee Lamb's contract yesterday. I think it would wreak a little too much havoc on the salary cap to trade Lamb, but they eventually traded Amari Cooper and kept CeeDee Lamb. I think eventually they're going to move on from Lamb and they're going to keep Pickens.
Maybe.
I think that's coming at some point over the next 2 or 3 years.
Why are we trying to start? The next 2 or 3 years?
Right. I mean, again, as long as they feel George Pickens is, going to act professional,
both of those
all
guys.
the right things, then go for it. There's a part of me too, and I don't know. Again, I got to look at their salary cap, and I didn't know we were going to talk Dallas here, right? We just kind of made that turn, I think, naturally with the conversation.
Naturally, because
there's a part of me that's like, man, sign them up now. Can you get it done? Double down on your offense. Make your offense elite. Kind of have like what the Bengals have, except you have some players on defense that you won't be like the worst in football.
That's the only problem.
I know, exactly.
Troy Aikman and Joe Buck were saying that on Monday night. Yeah, it'd be just kind of like the Bengals. Oh, wait.
Right, right.
That's the problem.
It is.
You only have so many resources.
That's right. Now, that's where, I will say right now, their defense is more talented than the Bengals right now, right as we sit here. So, just with their, the 2 D tackles they got, right? They got a rookie at a Boston college, and Uzurike, who's a good player. You saw, we got a middle linebacker now, Demarion Overshawn, who just came back from injury, is really a superstar middle linebacker if he can just stay healthy there. Right, so at least there are some pieces there, but it's an interesting conversation and a topic for another day. But this Pickens thing in Dallas and the tying it all together with Pittsburgh is a very interesting combo altogether.
Because it does splash back on Pittsburgh. The better Pickens plays, the more you're going to have Steelers fans saying, what the hell were we thinking, and why did we not properly manage this relationship? We managed it with Antonio Brown. We managed it with others. Why did we not figure out a way to coexist with George Pickens? Because look at how he's coexisting in Dallas with everything there. And Jerry Jones, when he says, I've never seen a performance like that, it was poetic the way that he was making those moves out there. It was like he was in an opera or something out there, a ballet. Hey, I've never seen a performance like that. That's from the guy who's been around.
Yeah, I mean, I'll challenge flag that. I think Randy Moss on Thanksgiving Day when he was with the Vikings.
He saw it.
Right. I think there's been a few.
Away.
Right.
He might have looked away.
Right. I think Jerry Rice had a few games there too in Dallas where they were pretty good too. But either way, the point is taken that it was a special performance. That's for sure.
Maybe he's never.
All right, we'll just leave it right there. It's clear to say that the Cowboys have actually made some decent moves for once. We have not seen the Cowboys make it. We can take the Cowboys in a nutshell, and this video's gotten long. We're over 30 minutes now. But it's easy to go back and look when you think about the big free agent moves that the Cowboys have made or the big trades. Cowboys haven't made a big trade like this with the exception of Amari Cooper. And you can look right now and say, this trade, although not on the scale as far as the draft capital, that this trade has been a complete winner, without a doubt. This is the best trade that the Cowboys have done since the 90s, and I dare say since Herschel Walker. It's been that game-changing. And Quentin Williams, that one may be, we've only had one game. But it may be that this is the beginning of a rebirth of the Dallas Cowboys. As always, good people, I appreciate you. And don't forget, today, 5 o'clock, we have our live stream. Look forward to seeing all of you. And I got to get out of here.
I can't stand it anymore. I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of here. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Stewardess, please let me handle this.
I've got to get
Calm down. Now get back to your seat. I'll take care of this. Calm down. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Doctor, your wallet on the phone. Everything's gonna be all right. Please.
Sister, please, I'll handle this.
Yourself.